I find stories really powerful for creating a mental image of a reality that they don't realize exists.
Mm.
So you might tell a story of a customer who did something. Actually, I'll give you an example of this from my own life. I have a family member who's older, incredibly intelligent, but generally not a tech lover, and said, I can't install apps on my phone. And I said, well, why can't you install apps on your phone? Well, every time I try to do the thing to approve it with the Touch ID, it just doesn't do anything. And this person has an iPhone SE because they like the physical home button, right? They make those for a reason. This person was seeing the little white box in the middle with a little red fingerprint as the signal of use Touch ID and touching that red
Uh,
fingerprint, not the button.
right.
And I went, as soon as I found that out, I went, well, that is a completely reasonable thing to do. It never would have occurred to me because I have the curse of knowledge, but that is a completely reasonable thing to do. And so a story like that makes people go, oh, okay. I never would have thought that someone would do it this way, but I can appreciate how they would. That sort of opens the conversation for the fact that there's an opportunity to improve something that maybe we didn't necessarily know needed improvement. Um, but I think ultimately, when you get to the understanding the magnitude or communicating the magnitude, this is another mistake I think people make, is if you go into a business case and your goal is to convince people that your idea is a good idea, you might as well not even bother, because
Mm.
everybody who walks in that door has a good idea. You need to convince them that this is the best idea right now
Mm.
compared to all the other ideas.
Mm.
So stories about, and it doesn't have to be an anecdote of something that actually happened. It could be a vision of a future story. If we don't do this, here's what could happen. If we continue along on the current trajectory, or, there were other companies that maintained the status quo and it was fine until it wasn't, not because they had changed anything, but their customers had changed.
Mm.
So that's the other place where you can use stories, is to envision the future and to think about playing out the different scenarios of, if we do this, if we don't do this, and what does that future potentially look like.